Good evening and welcome to Just Seriously Voicing Thoughts with me, Kriss Venugopal. And today I have a very dear old friend as well as an interactive illusionist and a shadowgrapher. More than that, you will get to know this personality, a person to whom I look up to as a mentor, as a friend, as a senior in school, and lot more. Let me start off with the first thing. Rajamurthy, as a person, I've known you as a school senior, a person who is a keyboardist in the orchestra, a musician, a martial arts specialist, and then I see you as a magician, then I see you as a shadowgrapher. We would like to know the beginning of the journey, how it all started.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on the show. First of all, um, okay, you're scaring me with a lot of things. Like the music, the martial arts, everything. Uh, yeah, seriously speaking, you know it very well. I was not good at studies, so so
That's the last thing I'll ever vouch for in this point because I know that you were good in studies too.
yeah, considers what you call education is. But okay, beginning of the journey. Um okay, you're talking about a magician. I mean,
No,
on a
talking about
perspective.
on the perspective of from the school time, I would say martial arts and music for a beginning.
Okay. I was fascinated by all three alike. Martial arts, music, and magic. I was fascinated by them at a very young age, and uh, fortunately, my father never pushed me to do anything in my life. He gave me total freedom. So I was this 80s, blessed 80s kid who grew up with watching a lot of Bruce Lee movies. Those were the times like the VHS came out, the cassette, the VCR 84. So countless number of times I watched these movies, like martial art movies. And I was not much into music. I was a bit, but I was more into martial arts and magic. So it was just following my dreams. That is all, nothing else. And it was not an overnight decision. It just was following the dreams.
At that point, let me ask: following a dream from childhood,
Yeah.
have you faced any kind of challenges? Because you being born in a family who had a jewelry business,
Yep.
moving out from that, from a traditional family business to magic, or
Yeah.
to music, or to martial arts, did you face any kind of challenges? Because many people say that no, I was not able to move out of it from family business.
Okay. This is what I felt, Chris. See, like, if I were to put it in simple words, I would say, if you really love it, it never tires you. And you don't find it challenging. Also, the
Right.
challenges you won't know that you are facing the challenges. You would perhaps call it something else, not challenges. Okay, so of course, I thinking back, I did have my hurdles, set of hurdles, yes, but at that time, I never found them as challenges. One, I never was wise enough to understand that they were challenges at that point of time. So but out of my love for the art of magic, I just went ahead. And as I said earlier, my biggest blessing, one of my biggest blessing, was my father, because he motivated me to follow my dream. I told him, like, I'll keep the shop alive only as long as he's there, and perhaps I might pursue magic for the rest of my life. And he was absolutely fine with it, absolutely fine with it. So it's thinking back, I don't know, like, how we got that. Like, what made him do that. He never pushed me.
Coming into magic part,
Yep.
in India, when you look at magic as a profession, professional magicians were called professor by
Yeah.
mistake. For a
Yep.
professional
Yep.
magician, they were called
Yep.
Professor
Yep.
Varakundam, Professor.
Yep.
That's the kind of title.
Yep.
And anyone who thinks about magic, very garish kind of golden colored dresses and caps, like the old turbans, and that's what we can think of in those days. But in your case, you moved into close-up magic. You are a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. You have interacted with umpteen number of international magicians like Ice McDonald, we have Fukai and Kimika
Yep.
Fukai,
Yep.
and George Blas and
Yep.
Valerie and
Yep.
many international magicians.
Yep.
How was that? changeover from the traditional Indian stage magic to what you are doing now? Because I do remember people booking your show from international venues when they come to Trivandrum. They just want to see your close-up magic.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
how was that change?
Well, Chris, like, see, one of I know I don't know I can't I find it very difficult to count my blessings. I have so many of them, so many blessings. Okay, I just consider myself fortunate enough to have come across so many blessings, and one of them, if I can recollect, is that the wonderful artist I meet backstage. Uh, when whenever there's a performance, there are a lot of starting from jugglers to acrobats to singers, and the kind of effort they put on preparing for the show, because for the audience, they see them from the moment the curtain goes up and until the moment the curtain comes down. But for any backstage artist who get to share that backstage with them, you get to know the kind of preparations, the kind of involvement, dedication, commitment they have towards what they're about to do. And that astonished me a lot. And fortunately, I have happened to have close acquaintance with George Blas and all these people, Fukai Kimika from Japan and all. So I've seen them, the way they prepare for the show. Just when you think that you have seen them all, somebody comes and surprises you with more. So for any artist who's willing to treat their own life as a half empty cup, there is enough space to fill more. So if you I just looked out and I saw, you wouldn't believe it, 25 years ago I went and I competed on one of, not one, that's the biggest magic festival in Kerala. It happens every February. It's called Vadakundam Memorial Competition. So 1 year after I studied magic, I thought I learned everything. I went and competed there. The third kind of fool, the fool who doesn't realize that he is fool. So I went and competed there, and I came out, and then I started watching the other artists who were competing, and I saw a piece of magic which I never dreamt about back then. And that's when I knew, oh my God, what are these guys doing? How are they doing this? There's so much to learn. And the same happened every time I saw these the international performers, and the benchmark kept racing. So it kept rising. So that was it. That was it. That it's when you realize that there's so much to learn and so little time. Like it's a very scary thought. Have you thought about it that way?
Right, right.
Yeah. So start working on it, and that's it. So it's a journey. It's just trying to be better than what I was yesterday. That's it.
Very true. I would like to thank Samya Santosh, Akash Chal, Sai Krishnan, Kanimuri Srinivasan, Fanaki Andrea, Seni Kabir, Bhagyalakshmi, Atila, Aisha, Zarar, Ijaz, Reshmi Gopinathan, Bonarina, Kabir, Maitri Rajdev, Vipin Parthan, Devi Krishna, Charito Yamar, and Ishwar Ramanathan. Thank you very much for joining. And Rajamurthy, as a person, you have evolved so much. The change, what happened when it comes to being on stage or doing your close-up magic at Uday Samudra, or going on talks like TED and or corporate shows where the fun element or the art of storytelling really comes into play.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Because just seriously, when I said that, the response, I really liked it because it goes to your corporate shows.
Yeah. If I may share that with other listeners,
Yes, please.
can
Yes,
I?
please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. I was just telling Chris, because when he sent out this title, just seriously voicing thoughts with Chris Cooper, and I said, Chris, when you're doing with me, you should be saying not so seriously. And I always go on stage and say, don't take me too seriously, because nobody does. And I somehow, with a pause, I might even add, not even my wife. But
No, no, that's a fact. That's a universal fact.
yeah, okay. You accept. Thank you. So you know her too. Okay. So okay. I'm sorry. I lost your question. I'm so sorry. I got a bit carried
No, no,
away.
I was saying the fun element and the art of
Oh yeah.
storytelling
Yes.
which comes
Yes.
into play when you go on stage.
Yes. See, it's basically I listen to a lot of, I read a lot of essays on magic, a lot of talks on magic by very senior magicians. Some of them are not alive right now. These are like, I'm saying like books like 300, 400 pages that doesn't explain one single trick, but has principles of magic and things like that. No, like there's so much to study. And one of those thing I learned is there was one simple question, Chris, which I came over. Is it like when you go on stage and perform a piece of magic, a set of magic for your audience, ask yourself a question: why are you doing this? And why are they watching you perform this? Why should they? What is the takeaway? What do they get? So that line actually made me think a lot, so I believe it is not restricted to any just a magician, but probably for people from every walk of life, every
True.
set of performers. You're on stage, you're performing. Ask yourself the question: why are you doing this? What's the purpose? Why are you there to astonish them, or are you there to fool them, or are you there to entertain them, or enlighten them? So what is your, and what do they get? What is the feeling that they should get? So if you try to fill those gaps, those little dashes, probably you will realize you will increase your potential as a performer. And for me, I started learning magic formally from 1996 from the Magic Academy. I belonged to the first batch there. You know that very well.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, being the first batch student, we had the greatest privilege because in 1996 we had all the top performers of the country coming and teaching us. So we got to taste magic from all these people. One class by every profession. I'm talking about professional names, big names. Okay, so they came to the academy, and apart from the regular classes, we'll have somebody visiting us once in a week or once in a month. And one day I saw one magician from Tamil Nadu. His name is Yona. You know him. He's
Yeah, yeah,
one of
yeah.
the ace. After the set syllabus, he made us sit around him and he performed close-up magic for 5 minutes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing back then, and I thought, my God, this is what I want to learn. And Chris, this is something I personally believe. As a performer, the why and the purpose. There are different slots to the answer, and one of my favorite slot is that you perform to inspire. It doesn't matter if you're a dentist, it doesn't matter you're a lawyer, it doesn't matter you're a policeman. If you do your job so well, you won't know how many people you're inspiring. We all came into different professions because we, at some point of our life, we got inspired by somebody. I got inspired by a magician when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old. And for me, that spark laid within, and it grew into a huge fire. So inspiration, and after some time, when you follow something that you really do, you inspire a lot of people to take that up. Oh my! And that is when they think, okay, I would like to do this too.
Right.
And for me, it was Jonasa who got me inspired into close-up magic, and then the style of performance, the storytelling, everything came from Paul Daniel. He's one of my top personal favorite performers. The late Paul Daniel, he's no more, from
Yeah.
UK. I've seen him, on TV performing magic, and he was so humorous. And that is when I understood the element of what is the advantage of having humor on presentation. It makes it so easy for people to watch. And then I thought, okay, perhaps this works only for the UK audience and not on an Indian context. And that is when I met one of my teachers, the late AK Dutt from Bangalore. He passed away a couple of months ago.
Oh.
One of my favorite teachers. And he was so hilarious one-liners. He had come back for anything the audience said, so humorous. And that is when I thought, oh my God, okay, it works even for an Indian audience. It works. So I started working on that level, on that route. And
Right.
it was a slow process, but it just got better as time went by.
Now, when you have mentioned Yona sir, and when you mentioned that sir,
Hello,
and yeah, can you hear me?
Chris, you're there. Am I
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
audible, or did you lose me, or what's happening?
No, I can hear you. I think there is a glitch, and if you can hear me,
Chris?
In bet- I think there is a glitch. Can you hear me? Yes, Rajamurthy, can you hear me? Yeah, in between, I would like to thank Ragita, Renuka, Tangam, Juju Samuel,
Hello?
Abidurai, Vishal, Vishnu Vish, Ajita Nair, and Bismi for
Hello?
joining us. Yes, Rajamurthy, can you hear me? I think there is a glitch. Yes, he would be joining us back in a jiffy. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I never realized that. Oh,
It was a
it
glitch.
was a glitch. Okay,
Yeah,
where did you lose
minor
me?
glitches. Even that becomes a part of a magical reappearance, disappearing act and coming back.
Ta-da!
Coming back,
Yeah. Okay.
coming back to that one aspect of international, and you mentioned many great Indian names. And there is another aspect to the international audience where Fukai, who performs hardly for about 8 minutes, and he does just the parasol act. And when you see Ice
Yeah.
McDonald, he's like obsessed with how he trains magicians.
True.
And take the case of any international magician, they travel the world with one art perfected. And in India, if somebody, some young person says, I want to be a magician and talks to their parents, probably they would really think he needs medical attention and they would bring him to me.
Yeah. Perhaps yes. Can't disagree.
So, what differences do you find between the Indian scenario of magic, where we feel that it is only on stage, and slowly we are moving to, say, ventriloquism and maybe some other kinds of addition, rather than not looking at the international scenario where we have people like Penn and Teller, David Copperfield, and many other people who made magic in a different level, or they've given it a different color to it.
Yeah. Chris, like basically, it. I believe it's a matter of believing in yourself primarily. Okay, most people don't believe that they can do. I mean, they can take it. Either one, live with it, and two, take it to the next level. Okay, most people. The problem I've seen with most performers is they settle for less. They say, "Okay, this is fine. This is what I want to do," and that is where basically the amateur and the professional outlook comes into play. An amateur magician or any performer will have a set of limited set of audience, so he will keep learning new things so that he has something new to show them. Whereas any people like the Fukai, George Blaz, or whatever, Ice McDonald, these people, they spend their lifetime, I'm saying like serious 10, 15, 20 years to build an act that lasts not more than 8 minutes. So you've seen a lot of them, I know. So
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah, that the 8 minute act, they travel the world with it, which means they, instead of showing different magic to the same set of audience, they they built an act and take it to the world. Okay, but that 8 minute is a sum total of like 10, 15, 20 years of hard work. A lot of thought goes into it, and that is when you, I don't know how many people realize, because for most people magic is, okay, that's how it begins. But once you pursue further, you'll understand there's a point where tricks cease to exist, and the life comes into magic. And that is when you understand there is so much thought behind this, or so much psychology behind it, so much effort, so much to practice and things like that. But what you practice a lot and you conceal it rather than like, exhibiting what you practiced. So that's basically it. And yeah, that's one is a basic belief system where they refuse to convince themselves that they are capable of doing better. And two, some of them even don't know that better exists. They think that's it, they have mastered everything. So once like once you think you have learned it, that's the end of it. So
Yeah,
that's basically it.
but again, that brings me to the question where a person like Varakunan Nambudiri, who could do the cups and balls in
Oh,
almost about 63 variations and more, and
yeah.
maybe Samjunath Lala Wadi, who was a street
But
magician who could
yep,
perform bringing bricks and rabbits from nowhere, and he
yep.
had his skill. But do you feel that it's all a question of marketing, or how you pose yourself before the world, which actually matters.
It matters, Chris. I mean, for any commercial music performer, marketing matters, but marketing on an early stage does so much damage because your growth is seized. Okay, if a performer markets with too early, if they work on the brochure, it'll get them to the stages, find the final stages around the world, perhaps because you have built a good profile, a good resume, a good posture, a good website. You'll fetch you shows, but on stage you have to perform. So I would say marketing comes. That's the last 20% of your whole effort. The last 20%, which really matters a lot. But unless you cover the first initial 80% where you put your sweat on the floor, that 20 will not fetch you anything for long on a long-term basis. So built on the acts rather than on the brochure.
So it
If
seems more like you're saying the medals and awards, they're not made of gold, but sweat and blood of the people who work behind.
absolutely.
Right. Your earlier answer reminds me, and again and again, of one lesson which Kabir, as a mentor, he often tells me that don't have many things, but have one small thing and keep doing it, and it will start growing on you. Do you feel so?
Absolutely. See, you take any working professional magician, you ask an amateur how many magic tricks he knows. He'll tell you, I know 500 of them or 200 of them. Okay, you ask a professional, he'll say, I know 10, 20. That's it. A professional magician won't know more than 20. Of course, he'll know the secret of 200 or 500, and he can even show around 500 or 200, but he can perform only 20. But the 20, he'll be so polished, and nobody would do it better than he would do it. So that's what they do. So what you said is absolutely right. I'm 100% agree with what Kabir
Yeah.
said.
When I look at, say, two magicians, specifically, let me take the case of Ice McDonald and of George Glass, who actually don't speak at all on stage. It's just music and magic. But the concept of talking while doing magic, that's what we see on the other side. Or maybe Fukai never speaks when he's performing. So,
Yeah.
do you believe the blend of talk and magic, or do you believe in just magic and no talk?
Uh, for me, it is. I prefer to talk as I perform. That's where the way I connect. I prefer to connect with my audience. But even if you watch Fukai or Ice McDonald or Josh Blast, they have a silent script. There's a story that they're trying to tell you on their act.
Yeah, true.
Which act of Blast did you see? You have seen his initial act where he comes with the masters on stage, the photo.
Yes,
That's
yes.
okay. See, if you look at that act, so he comes on stage. That's what the act is like. The 8 minute act. He comes on stage. He does a few magic. It goes pretty well, but then he fails on each of them, and then he's sitting kneel down on the stage with his head bowed and worried. And that's when the master's photographs reveal one by one magically,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he draws inspiration and he goes back and performs all of them with such grace and finishes the act. So he does that. That act was. What do you say? It was for him. It was a tribute to his masters.
Yeah, and
There's a,
again,
there's a
Ice does his grandmother's story. The
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So even without a single word being spoken, there's a story out there. A silent script speaks for itself on the act, and with enough acting lessons and with the right directors, they pull it off so well. But for me, like I prefer to I use stories, I use jokes and things like that. But I prefer talk and magic is what works for me. Not magic and talk; it's talk and magic. So.
The silence part. Now, you have turned silent with shadows because there the talk ceases and your shadow starts speaking with your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
And how did shadowgraphy come into the play in your life?
Okay. One of I say like keep drawing inspiration from people from various walks of life. Okay, and for anybody who was born in Kerala back in I'm a '70s kid. Okay, I was born in the '70s. So anybody who was above close to 40 might remember there was a time we had power cut in Kerala. I don't know how many of the listeners know this, but every day, especially during summer,
One hour.
there'll be electricity. Yeah, the electricity short will be there. So half an hour. So 1 hour. Back then, we didn't have generator at home. I'm talking about the early 80s. Okay, so a candle. That's it. So that's the time I used to polish my guitar skills, and I'll keep it away and sometimes work on the shadow. And my grandmother used to scold me, like, okay, I'll just tell you a very brief thing. Like, every week the time shifts. Like, if this week, if the power cut is from 7 to 7:30 or 7 to 8, the next week will be from 8 to 9 p.m. So I would bring my guitar and set it up, waiting for the current to go at 7, and the current would go and I start playing. So one day I was bringing the guitar and my grandmother said, like, there he brings it. Every time he brings it, the electricity goes. Okay. Okay, and okay, so shadow, see, it was an underlying thing right then, but I won't call that shadow play or shadowgraphy. We all have played with shadows as kids.
Yes.
Okay, it's just that I never got to grow up. And finally, sometime in the 90s, the 96, 97, one of my teachers, he's the same age of as I am, Prahlad Acharya. You know him
Yes,
from
yes, yes.
Karnataka. A wonderful performer,
Yeah.
one of the finest performers India has created. So he was into magic. He was into a lot of things. But finally,
Ventriloquism,
right,
shadow, right?
yeah, ventriloquism, you name it, he has done it. So he inspired me to take up shadowgraphy. So I told him that I want to develop an act. He said, you learn by yourself, and when you think you're ready, come to me. And I took around 3 years to do a 5 minute act, which I'm doing right now. It's not much, but for me, it was one. I'm a slow learner, so I took my time with it. I didn't compel myself to finish it off. There was no hurry. I just took my time. So 3 years I worked by on my on the shadow play by myself, and end of the call him. I said, like, I need your help. He said, come over. I went. I stayed with him for 3 days, and I needed a script for my act, and he knew that it has to come from me. And I didn't expect him to give me a script. I said, like, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? He said, try. He never discouraged. And finally, on the third day, just as I was about to leave his house, a thought came to me. I said, I have an idea. Why don't I do this and act like this? He said, that sounds good. You try it. And though he was encouraging me on all other ones, I knew that this one he really meant. Chris, you're
Right.
there?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello?
Yes, I think again the glitch. Disappearing act, and he would be back with us. In between, let me thank the new joinings of Vishal, Vishnu, Ajita Nair, Bismi Manu, Santosh Rajgopal, Anu Kurian, KR Nair, Iqbal Rana, Pragya, Archana, and Seema. Thank you very much for joining. Yes, the appearing act. Ta-da!
Ta-da again. Okay, how do you like me so far? Okay. Okay, so I don't know where I lost you. I think I was talking to you about Prahlad Acharya.
Yes, yes. The final
So,
act was designed from your own side.
yes, and the third day I came up with this, and see, it happens only in the presence of a teacher or a guru. Okay, you can always pull an act by yourself, but in the presence of somebody who is willing to teach you, you draw a lot of energy from them. They inspire you so much. Perhaps it's you who do it yourself, but the presence adds a lot. So for me, it was very important. The third day, I had this thought, and I said, why don't I do this? He said, yeah, that sounds good. You try it, and that was it. Uh, that was it. So, but I'm not concentrating more on shadow. I just use it as closure for my act. I concentrate more on magic, on illusions. But for Prahlad sir, he left everything. He left magic. He left ventriloquism, everything, and right now he does only shadow play.
Oh, nice.
He's found his call.
When we talk about shadowgraphy, there is a point where you had done shows with the, uh, like I would say, everyone's favorite Balabaskar and Adi, the mentalist, and you
Yes.
went on stage with like the 3M, the music, magic, and the mentalism.
Yep.
We would like to know about that before I open up the floor for everyone to interact with you.
Oh, okay. Okay. The M show.
Yeah.
The M show. Okay, a lot to talk about. It makes me very emotional when I think about it. It was M show was a brainchild of Adi. Okay, I mean, basically we are friends. All three of us were friends. Adi knew Balu, I knew Balu, Balu knew me, and we knew each other. But then one fine day, Adi I believe was working in US at that point of time on a cruise liner, and he calls me and says, "So why don't we do a show like this, all three of us?" I said, like, "Are you sure? Are you sure this is going to pull off?" He said, like, "We'll give it a shot." So we premiered our first show in Dubai. That's where you were there.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah, right. So, and we looped everyone in. We thought we did the brainstorming independently, and trust me, like we reached there and with the little rehearsal among ourselves, but because all three of us knew what we were doing individually, but then the act together to evolve took some time. But Dubai was the first time we did it there. I don't remember which year that was, and then thereafter we did so many international shows, all three of us, and we did one show in Cochin. The only show in India happened in Cochin, where the three of us did together, and all the others were international shows. And so ever since we lost Balu, uh, we both Adi and myself we decided not to go ahead with it because it doesn't make any sense without him. But then we performed together twice after we lost Balu. Adi and myself we performed twice, but that was on demand. They said we want both of you on stage. They were very particular about it. We were not very comfortable. I mean, not that. Comfortable it's not the we are not okay but then we just went it and filled the show, that's it. M show was beautiful because there was total blend of all three, like magic, mentalism, and music. And there were point of time where there would be three of us on stage, combinations of two of us on stage. Like that was a beautiful experience. Yeah.
And for those listeners who don't know Balu, he was one of the very gifted violinists whom we lost to a road mishap. And today we have his performances in our hearts and his memories in our minds. I would like now to take the next step in Just Seriously, where the voicing thoughts comes from all the listeners. Charito Yamar, I saw you raise the hand, and please raise your hand again so that I can bring you up stage and you can interact with Rajamurthy. And also, I would like to inform others that you can just raise your virtual hand, and I'll bring you onto the stage so that you can talk with Rajamurthy. And yes, we have Ishwar Ramanathan. Yes, Ishwar, you can interact with Rajamurthy now.
Yeah, sir, you've always been an inspiration. Uh,
Hey, Ishwar, that's you.
yeah, that's me.
How are you? Tell me.
Great, sir, going on. You've always been an inspiration. You just told that story of the 8-year-old you watching magic. And as you said that, the 10-year-old me came to mind watching you perform. And for all of you listening, I've been performing magic for 11 years, thanks to Murthy, sir. Uh,
So touched by that, Ishwar. So touched by
You know,
that. Thank you.
yeah,
Rajamurthy,
so thank you.
the interesting part is Ishwar and me, we are classmates.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we are classmates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we both went for the hypnosis sessions together as classmates, where you were also there.
Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah. Right. Right. Okay. Okay. How could I forget that? Okay.
Yeah, so since then, wherever we go, Chris introduces me as his classmate, and he's a good friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Right.
Most
Thank you,
welcome.
Ishwar. And we have Charito Yamar. Charito, now you can interact with Rajamurthy.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Magandang hapon po.
Magandang gabi. It's 12 midnight here, actually.
Oh,
I'm at the
okay.
airport. I'm waiting for my flight to Manila, but I saw your audio room, Dr. Kriss, and I really wanted to listen to you. And Mr. Raja. Yeah, I'm just curious about these things, but there are a lot of people who are into this, like the illusionist, the magicians and all that. But uh, my question is this: what happens to those who don't succeed in this endeavor? They might feel they're at it because they like it, but then when they go out into this world, well, it was not quite accepted, or there was no quite, what shall I say, it did not sell. So what happened then after that? Well, those magics and all those things that they learn just go away unnoticed, or will it have an impact on those people who wanted to do magic but could not get there, could not get the success they wanted in life? Just asking. Thank you.
Thank you, Charito. Thank you. That was a lovely question. Okay, it's a very deep question that you asked. Uh, okay. This is a very personal approach to that question. Okay, I personally believe that your job is to just flow. Okay, see, once it rains on the hill, the water. Hello,
Yes, you're audible.
am I there?
You're audible. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
go
thank
on,
you.
go on.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I would say be like the water that rains on the hill. It's never scared whether it will reach the ocean. Its job is just to flow. If it doesn't reach the ocean, it'll form a pond. If it reaches the ocean, it reaches the ocean, and once it reaches the ocean, it doesn't stop there. It vaporizes and goes back and falls back on the hill and starts flowing again. That is unlearning whatever you do. So this is the metaphor I have for you, because there is absolutely nothing that guarantees that one will make it, but his failure can be guaranteed if in the presence of fear. So take the fear away and just flow, like the water that is not afraid. So that's a metaphor which I can use here.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
Sharito, you got your answer. Along with
Yes.
that, I would like to really add to that what Raja said. In Indian culture, we say Akashat Patitam Toyam Vidagachati Sagaram Sarvadeva Namaskar. We say like that. So it is about the rain and the water, and how well can we think of ourselves as the rain which flows on the hill. That was really heart-warming and thoughtful. Thank you, Sharito. Salamat po. And now we have Akash Jelt. Akash, you can interact.
Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening. Audible?
Yeah, very much, Akash. Please go on. Hi.
Uh, so, as you said, there's a lot of things a person, Indian student can dream of, or maybe I myself love magic. There are a lot of things I am looking forward
Akash,
for.
are you on speaker?
Yes, I am speaking.
No, no. Are you on speaker? Because I could hear echoes. That's why.
Yeah, it's not audible
Oh,
properly. Okay.
I'll just connect my headphones. Just a second.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, please. And Charito, if you are still listening to this, thank you so much for that brilliant question. That was really thoughtful.
Thank you. I understand. Yes, I get your point, sir and doctor. That's very deep to the one you answered me. Well, I rest here with my case. Thank you very much.
Wish you a very pleasant flight. What time is your flight?
Actually, it's 2 a.m. It's
So,
12:30 here a.m.
you still have some time to stretch, I guess. Yeah, fine.
Yes, that's true. But one thing I would like to add, both of you have very, very nice voices, so clear. So, I wanted to listen to that. I will not tired listening to those voices. Dr. Chris and Roger.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That's the first
Salamat
time.
po, salamat po.
That's the first time somebody has given me that compliment. I don't know, like Chris has been showered with that. Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I remember every time Rajamurthy finishes an act, let's say that Uday Samudra or any of those
Chris,
acts.
now you are echoing.
Yes, I'm echoing. Now I've stopped. That's a magical act. So I do feel that people would just remember the jokes and the kind of unexpected twists and turns which Rajamurthy brings to the table, and they would remember whatever you said. That's for sure.
No, I always say this, Chris. Like, if I may interrupt for a minute, I always tell them like, I want you to be amazed at my magic and laugh at my jokes, and not vice versa.
That's for sure. It will happen. So,
Yeah, I know.
and
Yeah,
yeah, Akash, are
yeah.
you there? Yeah, Akash, are you
I,
there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now? Is it echoing now?
No, no,
Perfect.
you can speak. Yeah.
Right. So I'm a big fan of magic, first of all, and I always look forward for how do these magicians actually do these magic tricks. So revealing these magic is something which I always look forward. That's one major thing. And secondly, I would like to say that I'm a person with a lot of dreams. So a person like me, when I portray my dreams to my parents always keep me back, and they always say you don't have a good career in an artistic field. You have to go do your MBA in the US and get your master's in business degree and things like that. So could you please give me some insights?
Okay, Akash, this is a very personal. I don't want to give you an answer here. Okay, but let me just give you a couple of facts. Uh, One, when you're talking about previously, the first statement you said is like you're talking about you like exposure videos, like where they reveal magic and all. I would suggest you not to watch the reveal part of it. Okay, just enjoy the mystery, because you will enjoy magic more if you don't know how it is done. Okay, because once you know how it is done, you lose the charm, so you will never enjoy it. Perhaps you get an answer. Sometimes it is the search that keeps you driving, like and not the answers. Okay, and regarding this question, the second one, the career, it's a very very personal individual choice that only one person can make, that is you yourself. Okay, see, it doesn't matter, because when you're talking about a conventional job of doing an MBA, whatever it is, there are people who have actually made it and lost it on both sides. There are a lot of people who have done their MBA and haven't made up in life. A lot of people who have studied magic and have achieved. And a lot of people who have studied magic and lost. And a lot of people who have studied MBA and won. So it's a very, very personal choice. If you don't mind, Akash, how old are you?
Sir, I'm just 21.
You are 21. Okay. See, there are two takes to this. One, uh, sometimes the burning the ship principle. That is, having not a backup plan works for some people. For me, it worked. I didn't have a backup plan. I never thought twice what I would do if I fail in my career. Hello, you there?
Yes, I'm there. I can hear you, sir.
I have to say,
Yeah.
ta-da.
Yeah. Ta-da. Okay. Okay. So Akash, like one thing is not to have a backup plan in life, because the moment you have a backup plan, if you fail, you know that there's something for you to fall back on. So you get my point?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have a backup plan, see, we all face hurdles, tough times, difficult challenges in whatever you're doing. So the more, if you have a backup plan, it is, that's an escape route for you. It's a lifeboat hanging out there. You can step on any time and row off. And the moment you face difficulty, you will get onto it. So one, don't have a backup plan. That is one take. On the other side of the coin, you should have a firm backup plan to support you financially if something goes wrong. And for you, you have the liberty of time ahead of you. You're very young, you're starting off your life, you're just 21, which means finish your studies. Magic is something that you can always, if you're pursuing magic or any other art form, that's something that you can always pursue along with your studies. Practice it. In fact, it is such a relief to perform in the evenings sometimes. That's what I used to do. It gives you such a sense of relief, and then continue your studies so that you make sure that, like there's bread on the table. Make sure that your life is financially supported, and take up. That's exactly what I did. And once I knew that, like my magic is taking care of things, I left everything and came into it. Right now, I don't have a backup plan because I don't think I need one anymore. I'm quite comfortable here. But unless you have that, hello, you're there?
Yes, sir. I'm listening. Yes, sir.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
listening.
Yeah, yeah. So unless you know for sure that you are safe, you're off the or you're safe on you're safe and on a safe shore. Don't do. Yeah, I have a backup plan right now. I would say you finish your studies, get a job, pursue magic at the same time, start performing in the evenings. If you're talking about being a magician or any other art form, or if you have something else in your mind, but you have the liberty of time right now, which you may not have in 10 years from now.
Wow.
Okay,
Right.
so 10 years from now, you may not go back to studies. So get a job and then you decide. Now, the thing is, whatever decision you make, you should take it out of clarity and not out of peer pressure or out of sheer ignorance.
Sure.
It should come from you.
Noted, sir. Noted, sir.
Right. But Rajmurthy, rest assured, in my case, I've not stopped learning, so I'm still a student and I continue
Yeah.
to be one. So I don't
No,
have a backup plan.
I don't have a backup plan, but I didn't say about stopping learning. Who's stopping learning? Who can stop learning? You will finish in 5, 10 lifetimes, whatever you're learning. So yeah,
Right. Now, it's my pleasure. We have Samya Santosh from PKD School, Polachi. Yes. Uh,
Hi everyone. I
hi.
find hi. I find the similarity between both of you, apart from all your other common factors. Chris actually creates magic with his voice, and you create magic with your hands.
now, we are from the same school.
Yeah. So, and both of us, I don't know about Chris, but I was an outstanding student.
Yeah, yeah. I also used to be asked to stand outside.
That's
Same
right.
here.
That's
Okay,
right.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. We were all outstanding students.
Oh,
Outstanding. Yeah.
great, great. So many
Sorry.
similarities then.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
what I want to ask you is like, you have actually explored a lot of areas in magic, stand up, close up, so many things, street magic, hand
Yep.
shadow.
Yep.
So, out of all this, what's close to your heart?
Oh, okay. I can answer this without thinking twice. It's close-up magic.
Yeah, that's close to your heart.
It's close. It's close to my heart because
Which one? Which one?
yeah, it's called it's a session of magic or a group of there's an act of magic called the close-up magic, which is
Oh,
performed often without any props, maybe a deck of cards, coins, rubber bands, anything that you can literally grab off, and performed right under the nose. Now, the thing is, it looks very silly. Perform it, no, that's the toughest thing you can ever do in magic. And it is not just because it is tough, it's so much fun. It is so much fun because there is nothing else. There is no physical distance between the spectator and the performer, and nothing, no other props. It is pure magic. And for me, close-up magic is something that is very, very close to my heart and will always remain close to my heart. Though I perform more stand-up materials now commercially, I love performing close-up. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much, Soumya. And I also welcome Shaji, Sahil, Tripti, Prasad, who have joined us recently. And we have Jiju Samuel. Welcome. You can interact with Rajmurthy now.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Samuel.
Sorry, first of all, I was a bit late to join, so missed the initial few points.
No, no worries.
Yes, so don't know whether it was already addressed. The thing is, my question is to take magic as a profession is indeed quite a different passion from the most. So I would like to know what was the response from your parents when you decided to turn to magic?
Okay, okay. It's true that you actually missed the first session because I see it was for me. I'll simply put it this way: my father was one of my greatest blessing, was such an inspiration. He still is an inspiration for me. I lost him around 20 years back. Uh, he never compelled me to do anything in life. In fact, all my life, there is no single incident where he has scolded me or asked me to do something and or asked me not to do something. Okay, this includes every mischievous activity that I have heartfully involved in, and where he came to know about it, no questions asked. he just what do you say? He expressed. So he had his own mannerisms, so I knew that he knew it, but he never asked anything, he never said anything. That was one thing. And secondly, on regarding my career, I told him, like, I come from a family of business people, like my father was a businessman, and I was supposed to take after the business from him. And I told him, like, I won't be doing it because I want to continue with my passion, which is magic. And he was absolutely fine with it. He was absolutely fine with it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. It's
Thank
good
you.
to hear.
Thank you, Jiju, and I also welcome Marina, who just joined us. And coming back to the audience, yes, you can raise your hands and you can interact with Rajamurthy. And before anyone comes up, let me just get an idea about how your family, that's the next generation, like your son and your wife, we did talk about the difficult part, but we'd like to know about the magical part also. How are they receiving it?
Receiving what? Magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you do the disappearing act before your wife very often?
No, it doesn't work on her.
She knows where to find you.
Yeah. No, the thing is, jokes apart, Chris, they are my first set of spectators. Okay. Before I got married, I had two of my friends. You know them, Ajit and Sai.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and also Rajiv was there. So all three of them, we are close friends from 8th standard, and we are still close friends. So if I whenever learned something new, I used to perform it for them, and they used to say, I saw it going there, perhaps you should watch out for this and all. And then once I got married, I had my best friend, my wife, all the time with me. So, and ever since then, I whatever I learned, I used to show her. And since I had both my kids, my son and my daughter, the three of them, they take turns, like, so I when I do something, I work on some new material, and it is like, once it is 50% done, I show it to them. I say, like, how does this look? And they're so far, they're the best critics that I have had. uh, and my son used to perform magic, but he doesn't do it anymore. So in one way, it is good because he half knows the possibilities, the other half he doesn't. So I get a lot of feedback from them.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we have Kabir who has joined us. Yes, Kabir.
Hello.
Uh, Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Chris, Adila was raising the hand. So
yes,
after
yes.
Ishwar, I'm speaking. After Ishwar and Adila, I'm
Yes,
speaking.
Adila. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Adila. The floor is yours.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Atila, right?
Yeah.
Hi, tell me.
Pardon me if this question sounds childish. I am a huge fan of movies which showcase magic,
Huh?
and I have always wondered, for a magician, what is the criteria to be called really great?
Oh, okay. Akila, first of all, there is nothing called you said you are afraid that the question is too silly.
Yeah.
Okay, there are no silly questions. First of all, okay, and secondly, a same pinch to you, because I'm an ardent fan of movies, whether it is on magic or otherwise. I love
Yeah.
movies. Watch a lot of them. And the to answer your question, what is? Can you just the last part? To become great.
What is the criteria to be called a great magician?
Okay, stop trying to be great, I would say. Because you can always convince others that you are great. Okay, but to become great is another question. So which happens only when you leave everything. It's a free flow, the fourth stage of learning, the unconscious
Yeah.
competence, where you just flow, you just do, great or not, it doesn't matter. I make mistakes on stage. I've made mistakes, I still do it at times. In the future also I might make, I don't know. But fortunately I can cover it up in such a way that people don't know it's a mistake. But apart from that, mistakes do happen, which means there's nothing called great. It is I don't believe there's something called great, because there's always greater.
Yeah.
I would say being good is good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Adila and Kabir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Adila. That was a beautiful question. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Before we go, yeah. Yes, Kabir.
Chris, and very happy to hear from Raja. And
Yep.
like in my childhood, I had this passion of learning magic, and I didn't know who to ask. So I think you say that I have the opportunity to learn.
It's never too late to start.
So
The child is
yeah,
still alive in each of us. So yeah. So,
thanks. And one thing I would like to add, which you were telling, keeping up a backup, when Akash told, I would like to tell, if you want to settle for less, or if you want to settle on multiple things, it is okay. But I see that you didn't keep any backup. That was the reason you achieved your dreams.
yeah. Yeah. Now there's one more reason, Kabir. Hello.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
There's one
Hearing,
more
hearing.
reason. Yeah. There's one more reason. This is the only thing I was good at.
No, I would not say that. As a musician, I've seen you perform, and it was really great. And I've seen Ajit and Darshan, you all
Yeah.
perform at school, and we used to just be there and enjoy how you used to perform as a
No,
musician.
but for the orchestra, I was a standby. I was just trust me. I was, yeah. Sorry.
But again, I would say the thought about not having a kind of a safety net gives you that confidence that yes, I can do it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Charito and Ishwar,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Charito, yes.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I just have an observation to say. Out of the
Please.
30 people in this room, I am the only non Indian. Can you see? So
I know we have
29
Fanaki, we
are
have
came from India.
no
So
Fanaki is from
can you make
Madagascar.
a magic and make me an Indian?
Oh.
Okay. But I can see that almost everybody from India. So please do a magic and make me one of you. No, actually, I love Indians. I have a friend and he's very close to my heart. Thank you,
Yes. Thank you
everybody.
so much. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Yeah, my flight
Charito.
is coming.
So have
Okay,
a
bye
safe
bye.
flight. Yes, Ishwar.
Yeah, sir. So I knew about the fact that you love close up the most. If you
Yeah.
could choose just one trick to perform for the rest of your life, what would that be? You could only
Uh,
do that trick.
yeah. I don't have to think twice. The crazy man's handcuff. Uh, you know what that is. So it's
Yeah,
a
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I saw that
yeah.
coming, but still.
Yeah. The reason is, Ishwar, that is okay for the rest of you. It's technically a magic trick where you have two rubber bands and they visually penetrate each other and come out. The reason that is still close to my heart is because it's a very, very old trick for the book, but I spent 7 years scratching my head, sleepless nights at times, thinking about this since I saw David Copperfield perform it in one of his TV specials. That was, I'm talking way back in the 80s. Okay, so for 7 years, this trick kept pondering my thought. So I was so intrigued. I didn't know how it was done, and finally, after 7 long years, somebody taught me when I was in the Magic Academy. I think it was P.M. Mitrasa who taught me how to do this. No, P.M. Mitra sir showed it to one of our teachers, Vijayan sir, and Vijay sir taught me. And ever since then, that has been my most precious uh, see, like people who perform magic know this. Every trick or every routine looks different in different hands. In my hands, I hear other magicians say that this rubber band tricks looks totally different. That is because I value it so much. And this is one thing. If you're taking away, probably, thank you so much for asking that question, Ishwar. Perhaps if there is one takeaway for you this evening, I would say it is this. Because if you value something that you do, if you see the potential of or how valuable it is, and if you really appreciate it, it really shows when you perform. Now, it can be anything. It can be from cleaning your room to sweeping the floor to, like a dentist job, whatever it is. Once you really value value it and do it, once you understand the potential of it and then perform it, it shows how good a job you're doing. Okay, so
Yes,
for me
sir.
it was this particular magic. Yeah, for me,
Thank.
because I had to wait for 7 years. So 7 years of not knowing and finally knowing how it was done increase its value. If I show it to you right now and immediately teach it to you right now, it's just a throwaway trick for you, just a trash for you. You don't appreciate its value.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Because
so
I
yeah.
recall having first-hand experience of seeing you doing it, like to me, one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you did tell me that you can teach this, and I do follow that one thing that you taught me, which is if I don't do a trick, I don't learn how that is done. It just
Exactly. I
takes
follow.
away the
Yeah, really appreciate you saying that. I do that all the time. Even
yeah.
now, if I don't want to do it, I don't do. I don't want to know how it is done. One thing, if I may add on to this, Chris,
Yes,
I know that we are
yes.
crossing the time here. I just put this in one line, if possible. We all think that it is knowledge that drives us forward. I believe it is our ignorance that drives us forward.
Beautiful.
Or yeah, it is the awareness that we are ignorant about something, and it is a search for knowledge that drives you forward. Once you are like, ignorance is like fire, and the knowledge is like a fire extinguisher. The fire is gone the moment you have the knowledge, but then you go seek something else, so it's a seeker in you that has to go. And for the seeker in you to be alive, you need to have that sense of ignorance. And every time you see magic, that is what a magician does to you. He tells you again and again what you don't know, so that you feel that sense of wonder and say, oh my god, how do I, that sense of wonder of something that you had as a child which you thought was lost forever. That is what the magician kind of brings up every time he performs a trick for you. So long live ignorance and search for knowledge.
Yeah, then we are all fortunate.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Funaki, yes, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chris. And first, I would like to say, Dr. Chris, you should change the name. Not a joke, seriously, but seriously, not serious. Because for everyone here is just having fun, and it's really wonderful. And thank you so much, Raja, for sharing your experience with us. I am really passionate about magic. The thing I love about magic is the secret. I always want to know what's behind the magics. And as a habit coach, I have one question.
Yep.
How many times it took you to learn one magic trick? And how many times was the longest one? And once you know it, do you have to repeat it a lot of time, or once you know it, it comes easily with you?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, how long it takes to me to learn a magic? It takes forever. Because no, trust me, I'm not just being philosophical here. I really mean it. Because just when you think there are acts which I've been doing for 10, 15 years, and suddenly a couple of months ago there's one particular act which I've been doing for 10, 15 years, and a couple of months ago I was performing it on stage. It slipped from my hand. This particular object I was holding in my hand slipped from my hand. I caught it, and that's when I thought, oh my god, how come I missed this part all the time? Because that was a missing element, dropping it and catching it up again. So all I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how long an act goes on, there's always room for improvisation. And so the learning never stops. Even for one magic, you can't, perhaps you can, how it is done within a minute, but to understand it takes even longer, and to practice it and perform it, it never ends. It's an ongoing process. It never stops. And I'm sorry, like, what was the second question? The one trick that I took long to practice, yes, it was the Indian cups and balls. I still don't have the faith in me to perform it. It's one of the toughest stuff I've come across. It's an Indian version of the cups and balls. The Western cups and balls are quite easy. They are tough, but relatively they're easy. But the Indian cups and balls is very, very difficult to perform. There are easier versions on it, but the whole act as such is very, very difficult. So that is one routine which I found very difficult to perform. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for Nike. I hope Raja answered your question. And just seriously voicing thoughts with me, Kriss Venugopal, every Thursday night, 9:30 to 10:30. And thank you very much, Raja. Your parting words, please.
Chris. Chris, first of all, let me close with what I started with. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I've always enjoyed speaking with you in the sense speaking with you, along with you. Yeah, you prompt us to speak. You bring out, that's your magic. You bring out words from us. So you know your job very well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And one my parting words. Uh, what shall I say? Okay, like okay, perhaps this is something. Uh, you know, there's something we all underestimate or rather lose in our life. It is the ability to feel wonder. Because we think we are grown up. We don't express wonder. We don't appreciate wonder. The moment you understand, you stop and you look around you, open your eyes, slow down a bit, you will see wonder everywhere around you. You will start to see wonder on a flower that blooms, on a butterfly that flies, and everything, even on a dry leaf that flies on the wind. So once you start seeing wonder in things, you start appreciating the beauty of the world around you. And definitely, you don't have to have answers for every question, but ask yourself the question: how does this happen? And keep that one sense of wonder in you alive, because the child in you should never die.
Yeah, thank you very much. And that's very thoughtful and insightful. More than magic and whatever we talked, I really am sure that every person has taken a life's lesson along with them, like Ishwar or all those people who asked questions or interacted with you. They would surely have at least one life lesson to take home tonight.
I
And
hope
it was
so.
a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
Just Seriously, Voicing Thoughts with me, Kriss Venugopal, every Thursday, 9:30. It's a LinkedIn audio room. And thank you very much, Kabir, Semi, and each and every one of who have joined today for the show. And it's a real pleasure. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.